Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the weekly comic book roundup. We've got a not too big of a haul this week. We're going to get started with an oversized one shot, Harley Quinn Romances. 8 stories of rapscallion romance, prodigious passion, and undulating, unbridled affection. On that and the tagline from the back, yeah. She was seeking fish sticks, but only a salty sea king could sate her true hunger. So this is a one of many seasonal one-shots that DC often puts out, obviously focusing on romance. So our first story is Harley in Stranger Than Fan Fiction. So it's there's a big see, Gotham's Masked Garden Gala, but Harley is there masked, and well, wouldn't you know it, Ivy's there too. Ivy is the whole thing is that it's at the Masked Garden Gala, anyone with multiple offshore bank accounts can come to watch some rare flower bloom for the first time in 100 years. So, and Ivy's there as well. But Harley pulls Ivy aside. She's made Ivy a basically a fan fiction. Harley can't recall if Ivy had actually said, or maybe Harley dreamed it, but that she wished the two of them went to high school together. They could have gone to prom together. So Harley wrote a fan fiction in this vein. It's not prom, but the Valentine's dance. The basic idea is that all the football players are jokers. Football players are basically the jokers of sports, and that they're both guys who have brain damage and unresolved daddy issues. So apparently, but a bet is made between one of the football players and Harley, and obviously Ivy's whole plan was to steal the rare flower. But they continue their whole thing, and they go to the dance. All goes well. The flower is about to bloom, but it doesn't. It does, and then Ivy gets the petals to retract as her and Ivy share a kiss. Next, we have a Batman story. Here's to Jack, here's to Molly. Batman is well, being Batman, brooding, but among the things he points out is that Valentine's Day is one of the busiest nights of the year for crime, second only to Christmas Eve. Couples walk the streets engaging in excesses that attract criminals. The money, the jewelry, the gifts, the oblivious walks alone at night. It's frivolous behavior in a city where ignorance is preyed upon. But it's also a vivid reminder that Batman's alone. A couple catches his eye. But the restaurant they're at, next door to the bank, and a criminal has robbed said bank and uses explosives. The guy's name is the Red Bomber, but he has basically gadget bombs. He sticks a bomb on the guy's shoulder. Can't be removed without the Red Bomber's thumbprint. So, but there's he got 5 minutes before the bomb goes off. So Batman says, "Okay, you're coming with me." Man's girlfriend, who he was in the midst of proposing to, insists she go along. Also, she along as they track down the bomber. She accepts the proposal. Batman defeats the Red Bomber, saves the guy, and months later, the two of them have a Batman-themed wedding, which Batman views from a distance. Though they did tell him that he should definitely show up. Then we've got Power Girl in All American Boy. Superman sets up Power Girl with Jimmy Olsen, and Jimmy's great, but there's the whole fact of her being a superhero, and though, yeah, Jimmy is more than happy to jump in to go headfirst in danger, just like Lois Lane. Power Girl doesn't want to have to think about, have to worry about that. And when she talks to Superman about this, he kind of says, let him down easily. Then they get a good, and they have while they are splitting up, they break up. They end with a goodbye kiss. Next up, we have a story featuring Constantine called Grace. Constantine and another magic user are fighting a creature made up of lost souls. But Brandon has himself a date from a dating app, and Constantine has kind of set up a bubble around the area so that no nasties will get through. But yeah, the spell the necessary spell was got kind of messed up, and the girl that Brandon's having a date with, she explains that she was close with someone. She's divorced, and but she could tell things weren't right. Things weren't right with that her ex wanted something different, and so apparently he left and joined the circus. And then a while later, the guy was murdered. And the two of them part ways. Constantine has managed to do the spell right, and Brandon was actually Deadman, Boston Brand, possessing someone. Presumably, given Boston Brand's past, the girl is his ex. Next up, we've got Fire and Ice in Dating App Disaster. So, Fire and Ice deal with a super criminal in Brazil, and Fire tells Ice about Valentine's Day in Brazil, though it is pointed out that she never really celebrated Valentine's Day, either because trying to stay one step ahead of assassins from the Ice Kingdom, or dating Guy Gardner. But apparently there's a superhero-based app, a dating app. So some possibilities. We've got Wildcat, Ted Grant's son. It suggested that since he turns into a werecat, it suggests no, don't. Power Boy again with a don't, and if you want to know why, just ask Supergirl. Booster Gold is like no, hard no, both hard no with being added that it would be like going out with your annoying, bratty, dim-witted cousin. Then there's someone named Spider. Seems like a winner, but Ice feels like there's something about him she's forgetting, but so she has a few dates. One is with first is Elaborate. Then we get Flex Mentallo. Neither of those go well. Then comes Spider. However, Ice remembers what it is about Spider, shows up, and puts the kibosh on the date. Though it seems to be going well. Guy, in fact, wants to join the JLI. Turns out he's actually a villain. He joins teams, and then sells the information, private information about these weaknesses, stuff like that, to various criminals. But Spider's stopped, and Fire's kind of lamenting the fact that she doesn't have a Valentine, but instead she decides, the thing about Valentines is that love can take many forms, and she sends a package to Ice asking if Ice will be her Galentine. Next up, we've got Apollo and Midnighter in Across the Multiverse. So, Midnighter's being tortured, and part of it is, though it does involve a kind of a Greek mythology version of him and Midnighter. But apparently Apollo himself is going through a similar simulation, but he makes his way through, and they've both been captured by the same people. Apollo makes his way to Midnighter and rescues him. Well, begins rescuing, but Midnighter wants to watch his husband take down those that kidnapped him, and so he gets to see it, and then they fly off into the sunrise. Next, we've got Kite Man in Once Upon a Romance novel. It's Valentine's Day. Kite Man's alone and kind of bummed. He sees a young woman sitting on a park bench by herself, and it's kind of like, "Hey, you're alone. I'm alone. Maybe we could be alone together." But she tells him to, bug off. At his apartment later on, though, his book from Book of the Month Club is a romance novel. Reads over it, and he imagines himself in a romance novel and with this woman of his dreams, and getting married. And when he lifts the veil, it's his kite. He's nodded off, dreaming about all this, but the girl comes back. Apparently she mistook him for the Riddler. Green costumes. But he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." And then kisses his kite. Finally, we have Splendor in the Foam, featuring Aquaman and Harley Quinn, as well as various others. It would appear the various others being Big Barda, Zatanna, Vixen, Black Canary, and Lori Lamaris. But they've all gotten together, apparently with the promise of a free meal. Harley has tried to bring them together, and some stories are told about Aquaman. Zatanna telling one about the time when Mira was or maybe it wasn't when, maybe that wasn't it, but apparently he was really into the fishnets. They worked together to save the day, and then they kissed. As Aquaman left, he said, "I'll call you." Barda has a tail as well, but it's just fighting bad guys together. Lori's is largely from the '90s era. Harpoon hand, long hair, brooding, and she explains he was indecisive. Canary had one, but he kind of ran off to pose with, take selfies, group selfies with bikini-clad women at the beach. During the Justice of Detroit days, there was a flirtation between Vixen and Aquaman. But then Aquaman shows up and runs out on him. And that is where the issue ends. It's a fun little, fun one shot. Honestly, these like I said, these seasonal one shots tend to be at least somewhat amusing. Usually fairly tongue in cheek. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.